Hello, and welcome to eXp Realty's Listing Workshop. In this section, we're going to review the exclusive right to sell listing agreement. This lengthy 10-page form, when signed by both listing agent and seller, become a legally binding contract of a property for sale. The realtor has a lot of responsibility to review its contents with the seller, explain the seller's responsibilities, as well as explain the realtor's roles before, during, and after it becomes legally binding. For example, number 1 goes over the terms of the agreement. What is the effective date? Is it currently listed? When will advertising begin? Number 2, where is the property located? What is the legal description of the property the seller wants to put up for sale? Number 3, what fixtures are included or excluded to go with the sale of the home? Number 4, is there any personal property conveying with the ownership? Number 5, is there a home warranty that the seller wants to pay to encourage a shy buyer to purchase their home? Home warranties are costly and can be generous encouragement on behalf of the seller to get their home sold. Number 6, what is the listing price the seller has agreed to list the property for? Before establishing a price, a lot of work on behalf of the listing agent has to be done to assure the price is accurate. Number 7, a realtor's compensation. It also talks about compensation after the expiration of the contract. A realtor's fee is due once it is earned as set forth in this binding contract. Number 8, the contract states to the seller that you will be cooperating with other firms and lays out the structure, so there's no question as to what the co-broke firm is entitled to and what the seller has agreed to. Number 9 is a huge part of the contract, which discusses what the firm's responsibilities are and duties to the contract and refers to the code of ethics. Number 10 discusses all the marketing you're going to be doing to attract a buyer. #, collection of earnest monies. Who holds it? When is it due? And how to resolve any disputes that arise from termination of the contract. 12 is seller's representations. Like the other disclosures that are part of this listing module, this section helps disclose some pertinent information about the property, including if there's a termite bond on the property, is there an HOA, are there liens, perhaps a bankruptcy, some facts that aren't so evident unless asked to the seller. Number 13, what are the seller's duties? I would have the seller read this section carefully and explain that by signing, the seller represents that they have the right to convey the property and that there are currently no circumstances prohibiting them from doing so. Number 14, we always advise the seller to have a home inspection so they can address any issues before they receive an offer. But sometimes the seller feels it's the buyer's responsibility and declines this effort, which is fine. It's up to the seller. 15, the seller authorizes the listing agent to take photos and use them in all advertising. 16, if there are any additional terms and conditions to the contract, this is where you can enter it. There isn't much open space in the contract, so this is pretty much one of the only spaces to write anything. Number 17, dual agency. Just like the Working with Realtors form, There is a section in the listing agreement that discusses fiduciary responsibilities in which a realtor can work with a seller. '18 talks about mediation to dispute anything that arises. 19 discusses wire fraud warning. In addition to signing the wire fraud form, it's also mentioned here in the listing agreement. Something to remember is when areas are redundant, it's only because it's important to keep mentioning it. 20. This agreement is a written and binding contract. If after this form is signed, all and any changes to it must be done in writing. Verbal communication does not change the contract. Only mutual agreement can terminate this contract in writing, unless otherwise mentioned in the contract. For example, when a buyer and seller can't come to terms on fixes after their home inspection, or the buyer cannot get his mortgage. The last page is the signature page. It also requires the agent to fill out their company information, including license number. Please remember to type all the information into this form if you can. If you can't, please print legibly. Again, I hope you found this module informational, and thank you for watching.